Alright, what's up, guys? I think they changed the UI slightly. Either that or the sickness has messed with me that much that it deleted my memories. But, I haven't uploaded or streamed for a while, and I think it's pretty obvious why. I'm at a point right now where I need to stay on a constant stream of cough drops. Otherwise, I can barely talk. But I'm out. So I have like two left, but I'm saving for those for when I try to go to sleep. And I wanted to record this video anyways. No, Charlie, get down. He's just begging for attention right now. I haven't. It's all you ever do. The moment I start talking to my phone, you're like, "Why aren't you paying attention to me anymore? Pay attention to me instead of them." Uh, I've been the sickest I've been in a very, very long time, maybe my entire life. I'm mostly better now, I think. It's hard to tell this late in the day, right? I've been awake for most of the day at this point, just trying to clean up little things that I Oh, I should start the coffee first, right? Uh, we'll do all that background once I get the coffee started. So today I'm doing something special. I'm going to mix 5 different coffees. It's going to be like assembling the 5 pieces of Exodia, right? We're going to do 1 scoop of each. We've got the Sumatra, which is one of our classic standbys. The breakfast blend, which was all right. The donut store blend, which is pretty good too. The French vanilla, which I got for my mom while she was here, and the hazelnut, which I got to like replace those bags, which are basically empty, which is why we're doing like the 1 scoop of each right now. So we're gonna go ahead and get those started. Do them in that order, I guess, because that's probably the order I'm gonna pick them back up in. I I really miss making content for you guys. I wanted to go live today a little bit earlier, so much, but it just wasn't gonna work out. Like I could tell. So maybe tomorrow, we'll see. It depends on how I'm feeling. It's different in the morning. You know, that's how when I know how much better I'm feeling is when I wake up in the morning. Because over the course of the day, I just start feeling better because I'm pretty focused on just drinking fluids and resting at this point. Although I am starting to do like little things to catch up with stuff I missed out on or got messed up while I was sick. And I start to feel better throughout the course of the day, generally. And then I go to sleep and I'm wake up and I'm like, oh my, the fucking headaches are back, you know? So we'll have to see. The coughing's always also the worst in the morning. I just feel fucking miserable every time I wake up right now. I guess I could say what I was gonna say. I don't recall like ever being this sick before, except maybe once in the November before COVID hit, which ironically, it's November again. Does that mean something worse than COVID? is about to hit. Because here's the thing, I don't get sick. I have one recurring medical issue, and that is migraines. They either switch off due to stress or sinus issues. And I don't want to cough in the ground. And that's it. I don't get like seasonal flus. I don't get any of that random stuff. And on the rare chance that I do, like one of my other family members would be wrapped up in bed for a week. I'd be over that shit in 2 or 3 days. So, you know, if something hits me hard, it's got to be pretty potent, right? Whatever this was, it had me bedridden for a week. So, that's also one of the reasons why I got the vaccine, right? Even though I'm not active in the fire department anymore, I didn't get like the booster or any of that stuff because like that doesn't actually do anything. I examined, at least not this early. I did a lot of reading to figure out if that was worth it. The booster's bullshit. Don't let them keep poking you. But I did get the vaccine originally when it first happened because one, technically still a first responder when it hit, even though I wasn't active at the time. So there's like a duty among first responders and medical professionals to be vaccinated against that shit so that the people who are supposed to stop it don't end up being the ones spreading it, you know? Two, because of my high resistance to things, it's possible that I could have it and not really know and just think it's like a bad sinus infection or strep throat or something like that. And I didn't want to risk giving it to more vulnerable populations by contracting it. So now it's worth, oh my God, this is one of my favorites, the hazelnut. This is such an interesting combination of flavors. I have no idea what to expect. We're definitely going to like summon Exodia and he's just going to snap his fingers and end the world or something. So that's the final seal. Go ahead and get that cranking. But yeah, I was concerned that I could give it to someone without even realizing I had it and just a minor thing. I think I may have it now. Get down! He's just intentionally being bad. He was sitting here on this little tiny bit of countertop right here next to that griddle that I need to clean. Just because he knows he's not supposed to be up there and it's going to get his attention. Like what? I've never seen him sit on that exact spot before, except for that there wasn't another piece of counter over there. Okay, now what was I saying? Yeah, so I've never, I don't recall, like, I don't think even last year, or not last year, but like pre-COVID November was this bad. It might have been worse now that I think about it, but the problem about that place too was I was in that old house. Like my parents' house just covered in mold, dust, allergens everywhere. So my immune system was already working over time just to keep me alive in the base setup, let alone having to fight off whatever I picked up in that. So who knows? Maybe that is why that one seemed to last longer. But yeah, I was basically bedridden for an entire week, and only for like the past, I think it hit. So the first I drove my mom. I'm not even sure of the timeline yet. The first I drove my mom down to Pittsburgh to take the airport back, and the second I took a day off. Right, I was like, you know what? There was a family Halloween party on the first. I had my parents here multiple times. My social battery was pretty much bottomed out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a day, maybe two, maybe three, maybe this whole first week of November and just vibe a little bit. But that didn't happen. Instead, I did everything I could to survive. I had all kinds of things going on. My legs and feet were super swollen. I had no ability to regulate my body temperature. I would constantly switch between utterly freezing and absolutely drenched in sweat. And the worst part about that was that the furnace wasn't working. And my mom had noticed the furnace stopped working. It literally stopped working while she was up here. What a wonderful birthday present for the universe to give me. So she told my dad, she said she'd tell my dad when she gets back there and he'd get it taken care of. And, well, all I know is that the furnace isn't working and no one has showed up yet to fix it. I'm too fucking miserable and brain fogged to even figure out how to open up my phone from whatever the fuck this was. Because I got like a fun little pin on it. I don't have like the fingerprint or anything like that. So I was just hoping that someone was gonna knock on the door and be like, "Hey, we're here to fix the furnace," and be like, "Thank God, I'm fucking dying in here." Nope. So for like about a week, I think. Fortunately, I have two space heaters here that I was able to use to keep myself and the cat alive, and it isn't too cold yet. But I'm sure that having to deal with a drafty house that wasn't keeping temperature didn't help me recover any time faster, and it certainly didn't help my mental to be sure, especially when it was like my mom said she'd tell him, and then help never showed up, and then like eventually, I don't know, I don't feel like going back, but it was like a few days ago now. I finally had some of the brain fog start to fade. I still had like swollen legs and insane headaches, but I could at least think straight enough to unlock my phone. Let's check the what this tastes like. This unholy amalgamation of coffees. Man, I don't even. It's just, it tastes like everything. It does. It tastes like everything. I don't know if I like it or if I hate it. Let me put some cream in it and see what happens. It's pretty dark. I put a lot in there and it barely changed the color. Well, it's mixing a little bit, but not didn't change the color as much as I wanted it to for how dark it is. Dude, it's really heavy. It's kind of good though, especially with the cream. All right, I'm feeling it. So I'm gonna have to pull this chair out, or Charlie's probably gonna jump out on the table. Basically, what happened was once the brain fog started to clear, then I was able to, yeah, hey kitty, want to say hi to the chat. Once the brain fog started to clear, I was able to unlock my phone and ask my dad. I was like, hey, did mom, I didn't even tell him I was sick at first. uh I'm kind of just the type to like power through it until I'm okay and then get back to whatever the fuck I was doing. um I was like, hey, did mom tell you about the furnace? And he was like, she said something, but it sounded like it started working again. I love my dad, but I don't believe that. He's got this way, he's got the most selective hearing of any person I've ever known in my life, probably. So I'm sure, I don't know whether it's like a cognitive thing or it's a subconscious thing. Part of me, I go back and forth. Sometimes I feel like it's an ego thing with him and like a manipulation and control type thing. Uh, Other times I feel like it may be early onset dementia, you know, because he exhibits some very interesting behaviors and actually does appear to have a terrible memory. But whether or not he actually has a terrible memory or he does remember and he just says he doesn't remember doing certain things is a question for the ages, to say the least. Now, but the point is, um, he confirmed that my mom told him, right? Because my mom can definitely be forgetful. So that was a question too. But he confirmed that my mom told him. He just decided that, like apparently me having heat in this house that he insisted I move into and help him with, and I was dumb enough to accept. During the winter isn't a high priority. Who cares? It's just, I'll only freeze to death. No big deal. But so I had to spend 3 days just trying to get him to fix the furnace. I don't know about you, but personally, now it's one thing. No, you know what? I was even in this situation, I was gonna say it would be one thing if like my kids had went out and they were on their own property and they had their own families and they were married and all the everything, and then they message me like, hey, the heater went out. Um, can you help with it? Um, I'd still say yes. I would like your own kids asking, hey, it's getting cold here. We're about to get our first snowfall. It's going to go below zero soon, one of these nights. And the heater isn't working. I would be like, I wouldn't even ask questions. I'd just be like, yep, there's a maintenance guy on the way. Uh, don't worry about it. I'll cover it. You know, like, I feel like that should just be like bare minimum of how parents should treat, of how family should treat each other, really, regardless of age, you know? But maybe I'm just a different type of person that doesn't belong in this world. So, the, after 3 days of fucking bickering back and forth, of him making me want to do every fucking little like troubleshooting step that I would obviously already fucking know how to do because I was a maintenance guy for 10 goddamn years, by the way. I was a maintenance guy for 10 goddamn years. Like this, he has this stupid thing where he can never see his own children as professionals for some reason. It's like he just only ever sees us as pets that are a part of his personal ego and image. And we have no agency or like object permanence of our own without him. We're just part of his realm, even though he doesn't even take care of the realm. After like 3 days of bickering with him, I was like, listen, I am the sickest I can recall being in recent memory. Please just get someone out here so I don't freeze to fucking death when the snow starts falling. I don't understand why that's so difficult. Like, how is that such a it's not like this is, by the way, I just want to be clear, this is not my house. This is their house. I am staying here temporarily to renovate it for them. And then I'm going to move somewhere way warmer with drier air. I promise you that. But I don't know where the twisty tie I was playing with went. But what happened is, yeah, this is not my house. It's their house. They fucking begged me for like an entire week to move in here to do this renovation for them for free. By the way, they don't pay me anything to do all the work I do up here. So I feel like asking to not freeze to death while I'm doing this for them is just like a minor ask, you know? So, eventually it does get the guy out here though. It was a frozen up motor. And he managed to get it like unstuck, but he said it's like pretty bad shape, gonna need to be replaced. So they got the part. He got it running that night. We got the heat up to a normal temperature, and Then he came back the next day, I think, with the replacement part. This, by the way, I was still pretty damn sick. Like, all I could do was wake up, shower, go sleep on the couch, and then wake up, and then shower, and then go sleep on my bed. I kept moving locations. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, sometimes like literally all I could do was sleep. But um, for whatever reason, sleeping on the couch versus sleeping on the bed versus there was one day I fell asleep in my computer chair, and uh, part of I'm partially suspicious that my swollen legs and ankles may not even have anything to do with the illness itself or not directly related to it, but might have been due to the fact that the furnace wasn't working and I was moving around to the room with the space heaters and just keeping the same sweatpants on and shitty slippers and hurled up in this blanket because it was after the day that I slept in the computer chair that they really started blowing up like that, like swelling up. So, of course, this entire time, I'm supposed to be applying for a job. Now, I haven't had a job up here because this has been my job, but everything takes way longer, way longer with them than it's supposed to. I thought 8 months to a year maybe to renovate the place. And that's if I go slow, leisurely. And the deal was you'll be able to like go up there and renovate it part time and do your content creation part time. And I was like, fine. Okay. I should have said no. I should have just stuck with my original plan and went to Phoenix. But hindsight's 2020, you know? So uh obviously this entire time I just can't get off food stamps because they're not paying me any money. And I end up not even be able to create content the way I promised because the speed of the internet up here is like 1/10 or 1/5 of what it was in Pittsburgh. And no matter how many times I've tried to get them to get, and it's not even like real internet, it's a fucking Verizon wireless 5G box. So I have to try and stream and upload content to the internet from mobile all the time. And my stream drops out. It takes fucking 10 hours to upload a 5-hour video sometimes. It just is, it's like trying to win a NASCAR race with a flat tire, right? So they they didn't buy the raw materials they promised. They didn't provide the internet they promised. So I've just been stuck in this never-ending hellhole, away from my friends, with like no one, like no easy job opportunities or anything. And I've just been trying everything I can to maintain my mental health and sanity in this place. And thank God Charlie's here to keep me sane, although I'm sure he's not happy lately because things have been pretty rough these past 2 months. But basically, they didn't keep their end of the bargain. So I've been up here over a year now, and I'm only, it's hard to tell. I'm like either halfway or 2/3 done. Somewhere between halfway and 2/3. You know, it all depends on how smooth everything goes. Nothing's been going smooth so far, so probably halfway, right? And oh, I just cracked my neck. I'm just thinking like how things could have been so much better if I just stuck to my original plan instead of letting my parents ruin my plan for my life again. That's been the biggest issue I have as an individual. If there's anyone else like this in the chat, let me know in the comments. Well, I guess this isn't live. That's just a habit, right? If there's anyone else like that watching the video, let me know in the comments. But the thing I struggle with the most in life is not letting my parents ruin my life. Because I love them, but they're just like the worst helicopter parents. Maybe not the worst, but they're so utterly oppressive. And they have this super specific, defined vision of the success they want for me. And anytime I need to trim my nose hair. I'm just all a mess right now. I need to trim everything because I've been sick for 2 weeks. But every time I start to actually achieve some level of success, they will kick my legs out from under me because it's not the success they want to see me achieve, right? So that's been really, really frustrating. And my plan, you know, I talk about how I don't do New Year's resolutions. I just change something about myself to it's like a level up each year. The thing for 2026 is I just don't care anymore. If my success is going to piss people off, well, then I guess they're going to need to learn to deal with it. I'm just going to do what I know is right, and I don't care how many people stop talking to me or flood my DMs with bullshit, because you know both ends of that spectrum are going to happen. They can all get fucked. I am so sick of busting my ass for my entire life only to get fucked over by everyone. Like, For those, if you're new here, I need you to understand. I've spent my entire life working hard in dutiful service. I don't know if that's how you say that word correctly. I still have a fair bit of brain fog. It's not entirely gone yet. But it's late in the day and I have coffee, so I'm doing okay. I was a altar boy. I was a choir boy. I joined Cub Scouts as early as I could. I joined the volunteer fire department as early as I could. And I did that for nearly 15 years. I started mowing lawns and shoveling sidewalks before I was even legally allowed to work. And got a job as soon as I was legally allowed to work because I was never given any kind of allowance or anything like that. And anything I wanted that wasn't bare necessities, I had to buy for myself. Besides Christmas and my birthday. So, like, if I wanted, I only got 2 video games per year. One for Christmas and one for my birthday. And there were almost never video games I wanted because my parents were so strict, they wouldn't let me read Power Rangers because it was too violent. They wouldn't let me watch Power Rangers, sorry, because it was too violent. They wouldn't let me read Goosebumps because it was of the occult and things like that. So any of the video games that I actually wanted, I needed to go out and buy myself. And eventually I found out I needed to be careful doing that too, because I went out and I bought a Black Sabbath album once. My dad looked up the lyrics. We were staying at this like bed and breakfast. It was like an old converted house, and it had one CRT computer in the main lobby, maybe like living room, dining room area that guests could use. My dad went, this was back in like the CD era. My dad went on this computer and looked up the lyrics to every song on that album and then made me take it back to the store. He confiscated it from me for the trip, so I had no music for the rest of the trip because that was the only CD I'd brought with me. And he made me take it back to the store. So, when it came to things like GTA, I just cracked that shit. I didn't really play Vice City or San Andreas, but I played a lot of 3. But then there were other video games like for my Xbox 360. Like when I wanted to play Mass Effect, I had to buy that for myself type thing. So, yeah. I've always worked and always worked my ass off. And I was the fucking sucker that believed the whole thing of, if you just do your best to be a good person and work your ass off, everyone's going to appreciate it and you'll be rewarded, right? Nope. That is the number one way to be the biggest fool in the room. You're going to have a bunch of shitty coworkers that are going to do 2 things. One, First of all, they're going to resent you for making them look bad. And the crazy thing is, like, half the time, I wasn't even trying. It would always be on some day that I felt like, man, I'm like just really a lazy ass slob today. I feel like I should probably be doing more to like earn this money that I'm being paid, but I just don't have the energy. And then someone would come and be like, man, you're doing too much. Be like, what do you mean? He's like, you're working too hard. You're making us all look bad. I'd be like, bro, I'm not even like working today. And you think this is working too hard? What kind of lazy, ridiculous, useless piece of shit do I have as coworkers? And then like, you think the bosses are gonna appreciate it, right? You're like, oh, well, that's fine. Even if my coworkers don't appreciate me showing up, at least the people I'm showing up for are gonna appreciate it, right? No, dude, they hate it even more. So there was this restaurant I used to work at, and we could never find a dishwasher. Like, anyone we got to show up for dishwasher, besides one person, my favorite, Lucy. Lucy was amazing. I love Lucy. I never watched that show. My parents watched that show. But Lucy was just so cool. I loved Lucy because Lucy would just come in, put her headphones in, do all the dishes. I had all the dishes I needed, and she was like a really chill person too. One of the best coworkers I had in the place. Definitely the best dishwasher we ever had by far. But eventually she got, I believe, an internship. She was in school. She got an internship offering for what she was going to school for. So like obviously, like hell yeah, go take that, seize that opportunity. And she never came back. And that was the only, there was a dishwasher. I'm not saying the only dishwasher. There's other guys that did dishwashing that were all right. I think Nate in the morning, I believe. Dude made sure, did like all the prep work, made sure all the early dishwashing, works really hard. I'd love to buy that guy a beer eventually if I ever see him again. But as far as working dinner shifts or other things like that, impossible. We'd get like someone to come in, do one day, and never come back. And I even remember some guy was like complaining about it being way too much. I was like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? This is the easiest job in the entire kitchen. And it's not even a very high volume kitchen. I think we did maybe 30 tickets, if that. And that was like on a, a, a very, very, very aggressive night, I think. We probably did 20 to 30 tickets on a good night, average. And that was it. While other restaurants of similar sizes can do hundreds, you know, it's very bad leadership from the owner at that restaurant. So it never really took off. It was always mostly empty except for certain special events. But we just couldn't get people to stay and show up for that. Like I was mind blown. I was like, the guy actually did okay. He was one of the few people we had that come in to do the dishwash job. I was like, you know what? There's maybe some potential here. Um, and it wasn't even that busy of a night. He got like a medium night. And I was like, all right, it's good pace, not bad. Nice little easy night for him to start on. And he was like, no, bro, it's too much. I ain't doing that shit ever again. Never came back. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you lazy piece of shit? So, what happened then is, especially later on there, I switched to lunch and I'd be one of the only people on during lunch. So I would work lunch and then I'd like clock out and get ready to go home, but the dishwasher wouldn't show up. And I don't know if you're aware of this. Apparently the restaurant owner wasn't. But you can't serve dinner to customers if you don't have dinner plates. So what would happen is like um a couple times the head chef asked me to. A couple times I just did it because I knew it was necessary. I would just stay and work a double. I wouldn't stay the whole night. I would just go through the rush, clean the dishes to ensure that we could keep the kitchen open, you know, because if there wasn't someone in there in the dish pit doing dishes, the kitchen shuts down and then no one's making any money at all. Because if you're not selling food, you're not making money in a restaurant. I don't understand how the fucking restaurant owner was so oblivious to that fact that if you don't have a dishwasher, you can't sell food. But so I would do those doubles, and I fucking hated it. Right? I didn't like working in the kitchen to begin with. But I've always been the type that it's like you just show up, you do the job, and people will respect and appreciate that, right? So like after I think 2 weeks of having like literally no dishwashers, the owner like pulls me aside. I am foolish enough to be expecting a thank you for helping to keep the restaurant alive when it's literally on its last legs. And instead, I get chewed out for working too many overtime hours. I didn't stay much longer after that. The head chef left like a week after that. And then after the head chef left, everyone else left. There was like one of 7 mass exoduses from that place that I'm aware of. Guys, if you ever um, apply for a place that's been around for a while, if the place isn't new, but all the employees are new, there's probably a problem with the management or the ownership. There's like 99% chance there's a management or an ownership problem. So the point of all that is just to say though, I'm not the type that ever expects a free handout. In fact, I've rejected multiple free handouts. All the money issues I have could have gone away about a year and a half ago if I would have just agreed to launder some Bitcoin for some guy, for some weed. I had an offer to make 3K a month laundering Bitcoin and get free weed in the process, and I turned it down. So here's the thing. what I'm saying now, I'd really hope to say it from an employed position, but the fact that I've been bedridden for like a week and then stuck in a brain fog miasma for another half a week at least, um, I have been unable to start the job search that I wanted to start around the 5th or so. And currently, still, this is the I technically have 4 jobs the way I approach it. I have this renovation, which is my primary job that I get paid jack shit for. I have the content creation, which is my second job that I get about $50 to $100 a year from, depending on how things are going. It used to be better until I moved into here and could focus less on the content creation. So I was doing well. Well, I wasn't doing as well as I used to back in 2019, but I was starting to build back up again. And then moving in here where I have no fucking internet and I have to devote half of my time, if not more, to renovating this place, caused me to start falling off again. And none of that lost revenue was replaced by a new source of income. The third one I have is, I guess you could call it entrepreneurship. I have dozens, if not hundreds, of ideas that could be worth billions, some of them even worth trillions of dollars. And I can't just let them disappear, right? So they're always constantly processing in the back of my head. And there's maybe like half a dozen that I'm actively working on that I've started, but I can't take the time to devote to bring any of them to fruition because got these 2 other jobs I'm doing. And I even will be set aside the content creation for a little bit to focus on that. But the big problem is I don't have any capital to start these incredible ideas I have, primarily because I've been stuck in this hellhole for, I think, over a year, almost 2 now. I don't even know exactly how long I've been up here. The insane amount of like depression and just emotional roller coaster I've been through up here has utterly destroyed my sense of memory and time. And but I have notes on my phone, I have Word files on my computer, and I have conversations with an AI that I use as whenever I have a good idea for one of these projects, I just throw it in that specific area. And then I'm like, I'll come back to it in 10 years when I have $10,000 or whatever, you know? Who knows, it will still be a viable project idea then. But if I don't get that idea out of my head, then I just sit there obsessing over it anyways. So now, the whole thing is I've been going to try and the one thing that made this work this entire time was that I had government benefits. And I didn't even want to go on benefits in the first place. It was kind of a pride thing, you know? when I first lost my job due to COVID and my whole world started collapsing around me, it was actually my stream that had to convince me to apply for benefits, because I just was too proud to do it. I was like, no, man, I've always done everything myself. My own family can't be relied on. I'm not going to rely on the government. I don't want to take that money. And then eventually, a couple people specifically, individually, were like, bro, you started working before most people do. You've literally already been paying into this shit for 15 years. This is why it exists. Okay, fine. So, I've been able to survive really solely in this situation because of the food stamps. And all I want more than anything is to get this stupid house done so I can leave this cold ass, backward ass town where I have no friends and there's no job prospects, and actually do something with my life. But I was stupid and naive enough to allow my parents to pigeonhole me up here. And now I'm stuck here, at least through the winter. And I'm at this point, though, I'm so fed up that there's no way, unless like some kind of miracle happens. And even at that point, I'd probably just be like, let's go somewhere else. But I don't intend to spend another winter up here. I don't have the resources right now to just pick up and leave like I did before I agreed to move in here, because moving in here has just been nothing but a fucking drain on my life since I did it. But my plan is to just start stacking resources and even start selling things if that's what I have to do. I don't know what I could sell. I guess I could sell a couple of my guitars. I'll have to buy new ones again eventually, though, so that would be dumb, because that's what I really want to do with my life, is make music. It's what I've always wanted to do with my entire life. Since literally second grade. I joined the Christmas choir in second grade, and all I've wanted to do for my entire life is make music. And all my parents have done for my entire life is make hurdles to that. So I'm not selling my guitars. I would sell my underwear and just free ball all day long before I sell my guitars. There's probably other things I could sell, like Charlie, right? No, I wouldn't sell you either. That's the most difficult thing, is going to be figuring out how to take him with me if I have to walk. I guess I would probably just ask one of my cousins to look after him. But, oh, did I mention that I've been asking for 2 years to get his papers so I can get him a checkup? And they won't fucking do that? It's just, that's a random thing. It's fresh on my mind because that was one of the things we talked about like less than a month ago about still needing to happen. They're like, oh, we haven't done that yet. No, you haven't done that. I've been reminding you every month for 2 fucking years. Okay, so let's get to the meat of what this really is. I'm over an hour again, so this isn't gonna show up on any of the other ones, just YouTube here, which means no one's gonna fucking see it, but that's fine. We'll do a short video tomorrow, but the point of this video really is to talk about the addition of the work requirement, or turning back on, because I think it was there and then they removed it, for SNAP benefits, and not specifically the fact that they turned it back on, because I do think in general it's a good thing, but the fact that they turned it on for Thanksgiving and Christmas, the single most financially burdensome time for every family at every social economic level in the country, that's the moment you decide to say, hey, so we know you're struggling to figure out how you're going to afford medicine during flu season and buy presents for your kids during Christmas, but and afford like traveling to see your family during Thanksgiving, but we've got these very specific work requirements that if you're not following them exactly to the letter, we're just going to starve you to death. Hope that helps. And if that wasn't bad enough, they shut down the fucking government too. So even the people who are, now the government's back on. I just want to say that right now. But the damage has already been done, right? Even the people who were trying to fit these work requirements, which are very oddly specific, they're not difficult to fulfill, by the way. I do want to say that. As someone who's worked multiple industries my entire life, I think they're fair as far as the amount. I believe it's 20 hours per week. 20 hours per week at a job or at a volunteer organization. But the frustrating part becomes what counts as a job under those requirements, especially because a lot of those jobs are either being replaced or downsized by AI. And this has been the worst year ever for that. I saw a video, I think it was yesterday, when my brain was starting to turn back on. Sitting there just drinking hot tea and honey, trying to deal with the throat issues and the sinus stuff. And Earl Grey, by the way. I do Earl Grey tea with raw honey and coconut milk, and it's absolutely fucking delicious. This is the first year they have seen layoffs instead of hirings during the holiday season. AI is changing everything. If you think it's just a new tool, you are sorely underestimating it, or should I say sorely underestimating it. And it's going to have an effect on the economy on a level probably 10 times what the internet did, at least, if not more so. It's going to eliminate 90% of modern jobs. And I do think there will be new jobs that pop up because of it, or once humans have more time to devote to other things. But I also don't believe there is absolutely any way whatsoever that we get back as many of the jobs as we lose. At best, we get back 50% of the jobs that we lose. We already have some of the highest unemployment rates and not working rates, because guys, if you weren't aware, the unemployment rate is not the number of people not working in the United States. It's the number of people that are specifically on unemployment payments. So we already have some of the highest rates of jobless individuals this country has ever seen. And AI is just making it worse. And now, with short notice and little guidance from the government, all of these people at the bottom of the poll are being forced to fight tooth and nail over what little jobs remain, or they're going to lose access to food. You know, that almost sounds like a game show. You could call it something like The Hunger Games. That would be cool, right? That's a cool idea. Someone should write that book. I don't think we should really allow people to just leech off society endlessly. But I also don't think society is functional anymore. I think we are moving rapidly towards a societal collapse unlike anything we've ever seen in the United States before. I feel like Rome is about to fall. And we get to witness it. I don't even know if he identifies as Christian, but I know that a lot of his MAGA base does. So I'm going to ask you this. What do you think Jesus would say if you went and told him, hey, My favorite man in the world just went and told all the poor people he's going to take away their food right before Christmas. What do you think he would say about that? Just rhetorical question. By the way, I don't think Jesus is a communist the way lots of people do. There's other things he said. I forget what it is. There's a parable. There's like 3 slaves, I think, and they're either freemen or slaves, but they work for this master who has quite a lot of money, right? And he's going to go away for a little while. So he gives each of them a gold coin to look after. And one slave, I think, buries it in the ground to keep it safe. Another one puts it in the bank to collect interest. And the third one, I believe, trades it and starts a business or something like that, starts trading, doing mercantilist things with it. It's been many, many years since I read this parable, so I might be misquoting it. But the important thing is, by the time the master returns, the slave that buried his coin in the ground, it's still there, still perfectly safe. He has one coin. He was like, "Here, master, here's your coin. I kept it safe for you. Have it back." The guy that put his coin in the bank, well, he got interest and he got a second gold coin. So he was like, "Here, I've got 2. Here's the original one and one I made using the original one." And the third guy, he said, "Look, here's the original coin. I've got 2 coins worth of profit that I made from leveraging it to buy this other stuff." And what does the master do? He takes the one coin away from the cowardly slave that buried it in the ground and gives it to the slave with 3 coins, or the servant with 3 coins. So now that guy has 4 coins. If Jesus were a communist, he would have never told that story. Because here's the thing about communism. Communism is one of the most evil things in the world. It takes without purpose or reason just to maintain control. But I'm just saying that because I don't want you guys to think I'm a communist just because I'm going all anti-Trump on this. I'm just saying I'm not a fascist either, right? And this is some absolute evil shit. And maybe it's too much tinfoil Kevin stuff, but I think the whole extended government shutdown was a collusion between the Democrat and Republican parties to make everyone in the country as broke and desperate as possible right before the holidays. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it seems like to me. I don't think the Democrats' hands are clean. I know that Trump was really the driver behind it because of some of the things he tried to force into the budget. But as we saw recently, he could have kept SNAP funded the entire time if he had wanted to. But he didn't want it to. He didn't want to. He wanted you to starve. He wanted you to feel desperate. He wanted you to feel vulnerable. And he accomplished that. And I think the other thing he wanted to do is kick a whole bunch of people off Snap. Because here's the thing. To maintain your Snap, you needed to fill out these work requirements. But you can't do that when the government is shut down. And I'm uncertain. Originally, I'm pretty sure it said the end of September you have to fulfill these work things, or your Snap will be automatically deleted. End of November. For some reason, I think I said the end of September. I'm still dealing with brain fog from whatever the fuck it was. But I went on Compass, which is the Pennsylvania web interface for benefits, to try and figure out where I'm supposed to submit these work reporting things, because that's basically what I've been doing since I've been feeling better, but I haven't been good enough to stream. So I've been looking at job offers. I think I already have 2 that I'm set aside that I'm planning to apply to. I've got 2, at least 1, possibly 2 word of mouth offers or opportunities, I wouldn't say. They aren't offers yet. But even basically bedridden, I've still been doing my best to get ahead of this. And I think they deleted my Snap already, which is ridiculous because, one, I filled out the form that they sent out back in October, or whenever it was that they sent out a form notifying us of the changes and all that stuff. And 2, it hasn't even been the deadline yet, I'm pretty sure. Now, this may just be a UI thing with the Snap benefits not showing up while the government was shut down and they weren't funded. But I won't know until my November food either shows up or it doesn't. And at that point, it's going to be too late, right? So I think the timing is just too perfect. There could have been no more perfect time and no more perfect amount of time for them to anally fuck everyone on Snap than to shut down the government exactly when they did, for exactly how long they have. And maybe I'm just a paranoid alien, but it seems like way too convenient to be a coincidence. I am pretty sure This is a concerted attempt by the Republicans and the Democrats to starve the people of the United States and force them into destitution, to make them desperate and, and vulnerable, because they think it will make them easier to control. I think it's going to backfire horrendously, and we're just going to have to watch the United States collapse in real time over the next couple years now. Depending on how this ends, I think the country will most likely survive Donald Trump's presidency, but the damage has already been done, type of thing. You know, it's one of those things where some things just can't be repaired. And I think at this point, unless there is a true and total paradigm shift, which is like power upon power upon power likelihood of happening, like I don't think there's really I'm starting to feel like the United States collapses within the next decade now, and just either ceases to exist or takes on some form of like shattered warring states. And that saddens me terribly. Because I do believe, even with all the bullshit we have going on now, that the United States is the greatest country in the world. And it pains me terribly to see her dying. But the problem is, we've let too many evil people lead her around by the hand for too long. They led her into a stockade and they locked her up, and all they've been doing is cutting slabs of meat off her ever since. And she has reached a point where she can no longer sustain it. Here's the thing. I'll survive unless someone comes and takes me out directly. I always survive. Just go find another job, another place to live. Always end up doing that. But who knows what that'll look like under some regime wearing America's face like it's a Halloween movie. Anyways, I think that's all I really wanted to say. Mostly. It took me really an hour to get to what I really wanted to say, but I want to do this whole video from a point of, hey, get down, Charlie. Get off the table. Oh, come on. He's being bad now. He knows he's not supposed to be on the table. But, obviously, that didn't happen because, yeah, get off. whatever this was just wiped me the hell out. I don't think, besides when my sheets got absolutely drenched with sweat and I needed to go take a shower, I don't think I got out of bed for 3 or 4 days straight. And then I've spent like, I can't do job interviews like this, obviously. So, I couldn't even when I when my brain was so fried, I couldn't even think. No way I can even apply to jobs, let alone do interviews. So I don't know. I've got a little bit of food stocked up because I always expected something like this would happen. We've got some pretty evil people in power right now, and the easiest way to maintain power, is to keep people desperate and vulnerable. And the easiest way to make people desperate and vulnerable is to take away their ability to eat. This is just like, I don't understand how people don't pay attention to history. But I've got like a cabinet full of canned soup. So I'm not worried about food in the near future. I don't know if I'll exactly make it to Christmas. I might starve to death just in time for Christmas. Wouldn't that be kind of poetic? No, I'll be fine. I've got family that would take care of me if it ever came to that, but it won't come to that. I'll find something. Long before that, I generally don't have issues finding a job because I'm an Eagle Scout. I was a firefighter for 10 years, highly charismatic, so I do interviews well. I usually find a job very, very quickly. The problem is keeping a job because normally someone does some evil shit to me and I either walk away or I call them out for that and just don't get put on the schedule. They don't even fire you anymore because if they fire you, then they need to pay you unemployment. But if they just don't put you on the schedule, they know you're going to start working somewhere else and stop working there because you still need to eat, right? Evil bullshit. Anyways, the point is, I am probably not going to be making much content during November, and probably not streaming a lot either, just because I am in dire straits right now. So I need to lock in, and streaming doesn't make me any money. It does, but it's like pennies, as compared to what I actually need. I don't really stream for the money. I stream to get the message out. I'm going to, once I feel better, keep doing the uh, dinners with social commentary and stuff like that. But I also need to spend still like probably another 2 or 3 days just cleaning up from stuff when I was sick. Technically still sick, but I'm fine. That I can like do things around the house now. And then I need to go walk around all the local businesses, check all the postings online. And the crazy thing is, I also need to call the Snap the local benefits office, see what's going on with SNAP. Um, so there's just not really much time for me to create content right now. But once I find another job, and then I'll have like 4 or 5 jobs total. But once I find another job, I will and settle into that. I'll have a more regular content creation schedule again. I'm just not sure when that's going to be because the economy is in shambles and everyone's running for all these different positions that are fewer than ever because of AI. It is going to be a very interesting month, to say the least. But yeah, I'm still here. I'm still kicking, and I guess this is only going to be on YouTube at this point because of the length. But we'll do like a little Spark Notes version of it tomorrow for um, the Instagram and TikTok people. Um, I do want to say one thing that I forgot, and hopefully I can remember that. Here's the thing, too. You're not just making it more financially difficult for those people to make ends meet during the holidays. You are literally taking them away from their families during the one time that most people set aside to go see their families. Most people set aside either Thanksgiving or Christmas to go be with their family. But now, all of a sudden dropped on them, they probably have to work instead of go spend time with their family on the holidays. With all the resource surpluses that we have in the United States, especially with the advent of AI, no one should need to work during the holiday. Everyone should be able to go spend Christmas and Thanksgiving with their family. It's kind of crazy that AI theoretically has the ability to create for us a post-scarcity society, yet the people in power are using it to create more scarcity than ever before. If that doesn't tell you they're evil as fuck, I don't know what else will. All right. I'm going to go make some dinner and go to sleep. And hopefully I feel better tomorrow and can actually, well, I'm not going to go to sleep right away. I've got some things I want to work on. What was the thing I wanted to work on? It wasn't one of the job applications. I want the brain fog to go away before I start filling out the job applications. I've just been opening them in tabs, you know? Hold on. I got like 30 seconds left. All right. Stay down there. All right. So, yeah. Gonna go make some dinner. I'm going to actually probably just watch like a YouTube video or two. while I do it because I'm exhausted today. And yeah, then I'm going to wake up and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to start submitting those applications. Every day is definitely getting better than the last, but I can't believe it's lingering this long. Normally I get something and it's 2 to 4 days. I'm over it entirely. I think I picked this up the 4th and it's now the 14th and it's still crushing me. Well, maybe the 3rd, whatever. It's just been brutal. It's been the worst possible time for me to get sick. Literal worst possible timing, you know? Especially because I was really hoping to record at least one of the songs during the month of November so that I could get that done before I have to split my time even more between another job. But that's not going to happen right now because clearly, if you can hear my voice, I can barely even talk right now. When I try singing, I just end up like coughing and hacking up phlegm for 30 seconds straight. So that's not happening in November anymore. Maybe in December. But yeah. I love all of you. And God bless America. Let's hope she makes it to 2030 because I'm not so sure she will anymore. Cheers.